Development surrounding Ipswich has been a key and pivotal part of its growth over the last couple of years, in generating an older Tudor town into a thriving university town with tourist attractions and fascinating architecture. Described as the most pleasant place in all England, Ipswich has a population of 128,000 and has a long and fascinating history which draw many tourists and everyday visitors to the town of Ipswich every single day. People's opinions always matter, and the word development is always considered to be a large talking point. We met and interviewed the Member of Parliament for Ipswich, Ben Gummer, someone who's around all the major development plans and visions for where he expects the town to be and what needs to be done.
I'm Ben Gummer and I'm MP for Ipswich. Well, Ipswich is my home. It is somewhere I'm passionate about. I grew up just outside Ipswich, so it has been my local town for as long as I've been alive. And what I feel strongly about Ipswich is that it's got a community like no other. The sense of community here is palpable, and in fact people who move here and live here for a couple of years always notice that it's got a very, very strong sense of identity, but also a community. It's got a very, very great past, a wonderful history. It's had a difficult time over the last 50, 60 years, and that is reflected, I think, in the sense of sometimes a bit of depression that some people in the town have about Ipswich and its future. And that's what I want to change. I want this to be a forward-looking town that can achieve its most, that every resident in Ipswich can do their best and can live in an exciting place. And I think we're getting there. We are turning the corner. It's very exciting. And the next 5 years, I think, could be some of the most exciting 5 years in Ipswich's history. I think the one goal that I would like to see is for Ipswich to be recognised around the rest of the country as a dynamic, exciting and vibrant town.
We managed to speak to Bruce Mcgregor and Cad Taylor at CSV Media Clubhouse, a place which took part of the old Ipswich court, encouraging the local community to express their creative and artistic talents. Where artists like Ed Sheeran have generated a large scope of publicity
exactly
towards
what's
the
going
town
on.
of Ipswich.
Lots of people describe it as a DIY town, which I think sometimes just means there's lots going on under the surface. Well, at the moment we're housed in the old Crown Court, which we're renting from the council, and there's a lot of empty buildings in Ipswich, which is quite interesting.
I mean, I think the town has come on a lot, in the last few years. There are some things that the authorities are doing, like, that's mainly sort of trades union council, but I mean, that's a good event. Music in the Park, is an excellent event, a nip art, etc. A lot more happening than people realise, outside that sort of sphere.
CSV perspective, we promote kind of diversity and that kind of really interesting wider community, and I think if you just need to walk 1 minute, you're on Norwich Road, which is Jamaican, Kurdish, Polish, Portuguese, Russian, all the way down, independent stores, and you definitely feel that vibrancy. And I think that is the key of Ipswich. Really long-term integration, diversity, really exciting stuff that we like.
Hi there, my name is Julien Mery. I'm the director of Film Suffolk. What Film Suffolk does is an organisation for filmmakers and generally also to support the local film industry. I've been living now in Ipswich for about 9 years, and I've seen quite a lot of development within this time that I was here. I feel that Suffolk has got so much to offer in terms of its landscape, in terms of locations that it can offer for filmmaking, but as well a lot of hidden talent that is here in this county that not everybody necessarily knows of. The best example, I guess, is the most recent Oscar winner for Best Short Film, Matt Kirkby, who nobody knew was actually in Suffolk. Well, I think the potential is great in Ipswich, and there are already a lot of arts facilities, so it just comes to show that the many theatres that are already here in this town and are certainly financially viable. So there's certainly an appetite for cultural and arts events happening in this town. When I first came here, which was 10 years ago, I was quite amazed with some of the events that are going on, especially during the summertime. What I would very much like to see happen within the next 5 years is a strong redevelopment of the town centre as an area. That's from the commercial side as well as from the offering of cultural activities within Ipswich.
My name is Kelly Chamberlain and I own the Bear Garden Ipswich, which is an independent build your own bear retailer. I think Ipswich has a lot to offer. It's very promising. It's quite unique in that we have the town centre and the successful waterfront as well, which is something not many towns have. I think there's a lot of development happening at the moment, but it all seems to be behind the scenes. So I think it's really easy to be quite impatient with that and quite negative, but actually if you take the time to look at the development and the plans and to research fully into it, I think it's very promising. I'd quite like it to be the hustling sort of very busy town that I think it should be, maybe the town that it used to be. I think that it would be fantastic if in 5 years' time lots of people were coming to Ipswich and realising all of its potential. At the moment I can't say I've seen an increase in business or in people's perceptions and thoughts about the development unless they themselves are a business or are heavily involved in the developments themselves. I think the general public maybe aren't quite so aware, or maybe they don't take the time to look into it, so that may not be the case.
I want to be able to say the name Ipswich to anyone else in Britain, from people to say, yeah, I've read about what's going on in Ipswich, it sounds really exciting, what a great place to be. Other towns and cities have that buzz about it. Sometimes they lose it. I want Ipswich to get it. It's there in part already. I want it to be something which is a universally felt experience by the people who live here, and I want that to be known around the rest of the country. When we get to that point, the momentum behind Ipswich will be unstoppable.